Hi there, welcome to the video. My name is Salkosa and today I'm going to be going over how to play Mystic during Fullskip runs. The reason I'm making this video is because I realized there isn't a video or another form of guide which compiles all the basic information you need to know as a Mystic when Fullskipping. I'll be taking on that task as well as giving you tips based on my personal experience. If you're looking to have more impact and play a bigger part in runs by playing an important role such as Mystic, or if you're already playing Mystic but feel like you can improve on some things, this video might very well be for you. Now, you might be asking yourself, who the fuck are you? Why are you qualified to teach me how to play? You've got a fair point, so I'm gonna start off by introducing myself. My name is Salkosa. I've been using Mystic as my main class for Fullskips ever since those became a normal thing. I've completed around 1500 Fullskips as a Mystic, the majority of those as a solo Mystic. I've also had some past rate leading experience, most notably being a head rate leader in pop halls and a head rate leader for maximum efficiency in the past. Right, so what the hell is a good Mystic? Well, in my opinion, it's someone who knows what to stasis, when to stasis it, how to stasis it, while taking into account factors such as their own position and safety. A good Mystic shouldn't have to give too much thought to any one of these factors. That leads me to my next point, which is that there is no magic guide which will turn you into an elite gamer Mystic overnight. If that's what you were hoping for, dream on. Experience is the best guide there is. However, I'm gonna do my best to give you all of the basic information. From there on, you'll just need to apply it, gain experience, and in no time you'll stand out from the others. I'll preface this by saying that you do need a decent pet to be a Fullskip Mystic. Please check the requirements for whichever server you plan to run in, and don't break any rules. With all that being said, let's get into the guide. First thing to look at, Stasis Priority. It is your task to open up a safe path for everyone to navigate through the halls. So we're gonna focus on mobs with insta-kill capability as well as crowd control. The most important mob to stasis will be Crusade minions. When you enter the room, these little dickwads are usually gonna be sitting around, jerking each other off in a large group. You can usually get the majority of them in just 1 or 2 stasises. The same concept applies to little golems. When you enter a golem room, you'll often see them bunched up in a group of 3. Make sure to catch them with their dick in their hand, or they're gonna spread out and make your life miserable. As for individual mobs, you'll want to focus Angry Boys, followed by the other little golems, then Marios, and then Oryx minions, Grotto Rats, and Grotto Bats. Those last 3 aren't too important. Generally speaking, you want to be using your common sense and focusing on grouped up mobs, both for safety and to preserve MP. There's no reason to stasis the lower priority mobs individually. Next up is positioning. Now your goal as the Mystic will be to be at the very front of the group at all times. If you're not at the front of the group, there's always going to be someone else unsafely passing through the halls. You shouldn't be afraid to do this, you have plenty of support from the rest of the raid as well as your stasis orb to help you. In order to stay at the front at all times, you want to preemptively position yourself towards where you think the RL will call, as seen in the example. This applies to the start of the run as well. While the RL is counting down, you want to be ready to stasis.
Down. 3, 2, 1, go. Skip. Left wall. Go left again if you can.
In the middle of the run, you'll want to continue positioning yourself towards where you think the RL will call. Now, obviously, this will require a little bit of map reading on your part. Luckily, you don't need insane map reading skills to be a good Mystic. All you need to do is make sure you're regularly checking your map. You need to be aware of your surroundings and making sure you're not sitting in the middle of the pack and waiting for the RL to call. Although you don't need great map reading skills, I do highly encourage everyone to learn a little bit about map reading. It'll not only make you a better Mystic, but ultimately also a better Lost Halls player. I'm gonna leave a link in the description to a Discord server where you can learn more if you're interested. Now, a good Mystic will rarely lack the MP to stasis when high priority mobs are around. As you can see in the video, if it does happen, shit can hit the fan pretty damn quickly. The biggest threat to your MP management is definitely gonna be getting quieted. It's crucial that you dodge these white little fidget spinners spawned by the Grotto Rats, unless you want to be the one getting caught spanking the 2-incher. These quiet shots are static, so they're very easy to dodge. That being said, if you do end up getting quieted, you're pretty much gonna be useless for a while. While we're on the topic of slime rooms, these rooms are gonna be your main way of regenerating MP. All the shots in this room are easy to dodge and the mobs themselves are not dangerous. While going through slime rooms, don't stasis anything unless you're full MP. When going through Oryx rooms, the same rule applies to a lesser extent. You want to stasis the Mario and occasionally some group top Oryx minions. Aside from this, these rooms are an amazing place for you to regenerate some MP. Last thing you want is a crusade or some golems rolling up around the corner and clapping the entire raid. Moving on, it's crucial that you stack up on MP pots before every run. I'd say I use about 4 of these on average per run. They're a great solution to getting quieted or just getting unlucky spawns. Make sure you have them. Last but not least, you always want to be looking at your MP bar in your peripheral vision. Make sure you have 2 to 3 stasises ready to go at any point to prevent the aforementioned clapping. Now we've arrived at the age-old question of, Mr. RL, is this set okay? What item should I be using? Well, for starters, let's just look at the requirements of whatever server you're running in. That's what you're going to be following. The most important thing is that you have a suitable orb for full skipping. Now the group's always going to be moving at a fast speed, so you really don't need the 5+ second stasises that higher tier orbs provide you with. In fact, the best orb to use as a mystic in a full skip is a tier 2 orb. It gives you a 4-second stasis, which is ample for the entire group to pass, and a low mana cost of 70 MP per use. If you don't have a tier 2 orb, then make sure to have a tier 1 orb or a tier 3 orb as an alternative. You can find tier 2 orbs by buying them or farming in the lowlands, midlands, or chests in the godlands, so they're relatively easy to get. Overall, you should be aiming to wear gear with MP and speed on it, as your main goals are to stay ahead of the group and be able to stasis as much as possible. Here are some examples of rings you can wear. And here's some examples of ropes you can wear. Of course, if you're not willing to risk some of these rarer items, you don't have to. You can always stick to the Star Mother, the Deca, or anything else that meets Rex. Here's the set I use on my main mystic. Now, this set gives me a great mix of speed, MP, and survivability for the full skip. I don't recommend you wear such items as a newer mystic, or if you're not willing to risk losing them. Unless you're a bit more experienced or you happen to have large testicular fortitude, you may be better off sticking to the basics here. In conclusion to this guide, your job is not to stasis every single mob in the halls, but rather to lead the charge and open a safe path for the group to use. In doing so, you should remember which mobs you need to prioritize stasising, to always stay ahead of the group, and how to preserve your MP effectively. I recommend you hop on a mystic that meets the requirements of your designated server and get your hands dirty. The more experience you build up, the less thought you'll have to give to any of the developing skill sets. I guarantee you, if you put your mind to it, you can become a top tier mystic and perhaps even make a name for yourself. And with that out of the way, that's the end of this guide. If you have any questions about me, the guide, or anything else mystic related, feel free to ask them. Thanks for watching. I do hope you learned something, and I hope to see more sexy mystic skills on display.